So, the Rolex Submariner Kermit with the green aluminum bezel for this much, or the Rolex Submariner Starbucks with the green ceramic bezel for this much, or the Casio Duro with the green bezel for this much. Now obviously I don't think that this budget quartz Casio Duro can truly be compared with either one of those Rolex Submariners, and I'm honestly not sure if it could be a real budget alternative for either one of those watches. But what I do know about this green bezel Casio Duro right here is that it is an awesome dive watch for $75, and I am excited to show it to you in today's video. Let's get right into it. All right, here it is, the Casio Duro with the green bezel. Let's jump right into the specs and features of this piece right here. You can see the model number on the screen if you're interested in that information. The movement is a Casio Module 2784 quartz movement. Crystal on this watch is a flat mineral crystal. Case material is stainless steel. Case diameter is 44 millimeters. Case thickness came in to be 12.1 millimeters. Lug to lug distance 49.3 and a lug width of 22 millimeters. The band material is a resin. Water resistance is 200 meters. The weight is 93 grams and the MSRP price on this model is $75 US. So what are my initial thoughts about this particular Casio Duro right here? Well, I am surprised at how much you can get in a watch for this price. This is a good looking diver from an amazing brand, from Casio, what it's become known as a god tier brand. And now I don't think this watch is perfect by any means, but I do think it is a great budget friendly quartz diver if you're in the market for something like that. I have a few minor gripes. Most are minor. There is one major one which I'll share right now, and that is the size of this watch. Being 44 millimeters, it is on the larger side of a dive watch. I would like to see them make these in smaller sizes. Perhaps 38 millimeters, 40 millimeters, somewhere in that range. And I think if they did that, I think those would sell like hotcakes. And these ones already sell like hotcakes, but in a smaller case size, I think they would really do great for Casio, in my opinion. Now, I think I can pull it off on my 6.5-inch wrist, this 44 millimeters. I think it wears closer to a 42 millimeter in my personal opinion. But for people with smaller wrists than mine, might have a hard time wearing this watch. So Casio, please give us some of these in some smaller sizes. That would be great. I do like the case shape on this watch. I think it looks great. The finishing is great. You get some polishing on the sides of the case that I'm smudging up really, really nicely for this video. But it's polished on the sides of the case and then brushed on the tops of the lugs. And the finishing is great for the price point. You do get a screwed down case back, and it is signed, and you can see what is a swordfish, I believe, on the back there. You can see some of that information as well. I'm impressed by the water resistance on this watch right here. 200 meters water resistance. The crown is a screw down crown too. I was surprised to see that. I was expecting just a push-pull crown, but it is screwed down. It's unsigned, has a polished surface on the side of it there. Easy to use, easy to grip, came in to be about 6.3 millimeters as I measured it. So the crown, have no complaints in that department. The bezel on this watch, I'm not sure if it's an aluminum insert. I couldn't find any information on that, but if someone knows, you can let me know. It looks like it might be aluminum, but It's a nice color green, as you can see. The action is quite solid, a little bit stiff in my opinion, but good action, no real back play or anything like that. It is a little hard to grip sometimes, especially if you just creamed up your hands like I did, so no one would complain about my dry hands in this video. But the bezel, I think, overall is really, really good. The dial on this watch is actually somewhat of a sunburst dial. You can see that in certain lights. It's not going to jump out and grab you, but it's kind of more subtle. But there is a sunburst look to this dial here. The indices are applied, and they're applied nicely, but there is not a lot of depth to those indices, so they kind of have a flat look to them. There is a date window at the 3 o'clock. It's not the best. It's not the nicest date window I've ever seen. It's a little bit small, sometimes hard to read, and I think I would have preferred this dial with no date. There is some printing on this watch. You get Casio underneath the 12 o'clock. You get that swordfish as well, and water resistance 200 meters printed there also. The handset is a polished handset, and a nice arrow for the hour hand, polished minute hand also, and then you get a painted red second hand. I would have liked to seen the minute hand and the second hand reach farther out to the chapter ring. It's not too bad, but I think they came up a little bit short in that department, in my opinion. Maybe I am a handset snob, I'm not sure, but you let me know how you feel about that. Overall, I think this dial looks great. Not too much going on, not too much I can complain about here. There is lume on these indices and hands, so I'm going to shut the lights off and we'll get a quick lume shot. All right, charged it up briefly with my UV flashlight. It's not Seiko Luma bright, but it's not too bad for what it is. I think there's a good healthy application on the hands. You get a lume pip on the bezel as well, so not too shabby in the lume department. The band on this watch is nothing to write home about. It's kind of a typical Casio resin band. It has a generic stainless steel buckle on it. There are no quick release spring bars. It is breathable. There are plenty of points of adjustment here, but it's not the greatest. Feels a little bit cheap, but you can always switch it out, and I would recommend putting it on a nice FKM rubber strap like this one right here with a waffle pattern from Strap Habit. So let me throw this on this watch and show you what that looks like. Oh yeah, I think that looks a lot better. It's such an easy thing to do, to change out a strap, but it can really take a watch up another notch to another level, and these FKM rubber straps are really awesome, and I highly recommend them. And this one right here is from the company Strap Habit. There will be links in the description to them if you're interested in picking up one for yourself. But this is the green bezel version of the Casio Duro. I'm going to jump back in front of the camera and share some final thoughts. I've known about the Duro line from Casio for a while now, and I think it's been around for quite some time. But honestly, I did not know how good of a watch this really is until I bought one for myself and I had it in my own hands. I am amazed at what you can get for $75 in a dive watch, and this is one of the more expensive models right here. There are cheaper Casio Duros and other variations, so I encourage you to find a variation that you like and try your hand at one of these watches. I think this green bezel version that I have looks really nice, and it might just be a better purchase than a Rolex Kermit or a Rolex Submariner. You get so much for your money in a watch like this. A lot to love. There's some things that I would change about it. The biggest one being the size. It is a good size watch at 44 millimeters, so I would really like Casio to make these very same watches but in a smaller case. maybe 38 to 40 millimeters, somewhere in there, and I think that would be a real hit. So Casio, if you're listening, keep making the Casio Duro, but size it down a little bit. Maybe give us some more dial color variations, more bezel variations also, and I think those would really sell like hotcakes if they would do that. But what do you think of the Casio Duro? Share all your thoughts down in the comments below. Share any questions that you might have. I'll try and answer those. And thank you so much for stopping by to this video today. If you liked it, please give us a like. That really helps out. Please watch another video. That also helps out the channel. There will be some that pop up on the end screen here in just a few seconds. Click on one of those. I'm sure you're bound to like one of those as well. But thank you for stopping by today to this video. I truly appreciate it. But that's it for today here on the Town Watch. We'll see you next time.